A special welcome to Apex One Radio this beautiful Saturday the 19th of April 2025. We're broadcasting from the United States of America, precisely from the old city of Columbus. We are in the mid-western region of the United States and just 1 hour 58 minutes away from Cincinnati, former capital of the state of Ohio. And it is from Cincinnati that we'll be having some of our guests speak in today's edition of Midwest Ball Rolling that comes up in just a couple of seconds. But for those of you who are just joining us, thank you so much for always being fans of Apex One Radio. Remember that we broadcast 24/7, and it's always our pleasure to have you here with us. And so, how was the working week? I guess it was fantastic. Well, the weekend is definitely going to be much more fruitful and enjoyable. Why not? And so, my name is Ernest Kanjo. Marcel Adig is in Evaristus in Germany, controlling this broadcast digitally from that end, and the entire Apex One radio team is monitoring our broadcast this midday on radio. Special thanks to Finjap Evaristus for making this show a reality. He is former president of the Columbus Veterans Social or Soccer Club, Capo. Thank you so much for everything. And so we'll be talking soccer again today. But if you haven't had time to follow the veterans movement and their soccer progress, then this is a golden opportunity for you. All you need to do is to sit back, relax, and of course enjoy every bit of what we will be presenting to you this Saturday afternoon here from Columbus, Ohio. Then, for those of you who enjoy watching us on social media or through our respective social media handles, this is a golden opportunity for you to share the video extensively so that the rest of the world can be part of this great veterans movement story, which we have decided to tell on radio from now till August, when thousands of people converge on Columbus for the 2025 National Veterans Tournament. But before then, we are living the moments of the smaller version of it, which is the Midwest Veterans Tournament beginning next month. Well, today on this edition of Midwest Ball Rolling, we'll be receiving yet another participating teams. And today it is the turn of CIN-Day. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly, but then when officials of that club join me on the airwaves, they will help me with that. But without much ado, let me just say welcome to our guests who are already on standby. There is the president of CIN-Day SC, Tita Manga, who now joins me live on radio. Mr. Tita, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Good day, Ernest, and good day to your viewers. And I am excited to be a part of your show today.
How has the Saturday been so far?
Well, as you rightly said at the top of the program, it's raining out here, but the day started nice and warm, better than it's been the last couple of days. So we are excited for what the weekend holds.
Right. So before we kick off, tell me, for how long have you been president of CIN-Day SC?
I'm in the second year of my first term. I was elected last year.
Mhm. Wow, that's interesting. And so, how do you find the job of a president of a veterans club?
Well,
Challenging?
nothing really prepares you for this, right?
Mhm.
You're the leader of alpha males,
Right.
and so it's obviously very challenging, but at the
Mhm.
same time, it's exciting.
Mhm. Challenging but exciting. His name is Tita Manga. He's the president of CIN-DAY Veterans Soccer Club. He will be speaking to us live on radio this midday. Well, he's not alone. A big man never moves around alone. He's always accompanied by his people. Accompanying the president today is Sandis Eno. Mr. Sandis, how are you? Welcome to the program.
Hello, Mr. Kanjo. Thank you for having us here today. It's really a pleasure to be on your show.
Right. I do understand that you are the team manager of CIN-DAY SC, correct?
Yes, sir. I'm the team manager. Just like the president said, this is the second year in our first term working.
Oh, that's beautiful. As team manager, what do you do typically?
So, team manager, as it goes, you manage the team, which it's not only in terms of the soccer part. You manage the organization in terms of logistics and planning, but we set it up as a team when it comes to that, with the coach, with the president, with the financial people. Yeah, because you cannot team without having the finance guys to involve in all of it. So that's what the team manager actually does.
Is it a Herculean task doing that, or it's an easy job?
I would do it's a very challenging job, and prior to that, I used to be the team coach. There was no team manager, so I used to do the function of a team manager and a team coach. So we saw that it's not an easy job. So this year we had, or this current executive, we had to make sure that we have a team manager and a coach, so that we can work together to. Yeah. So it's like I said, it's not an easy job. Yeah, it's very challenging.
Definitely not an easy job. I'm talking about team coach. He is Ako Elvis. He's currently on the training ground, but sometime down the road he will get on the show and also share some information with us this afternoon. If you're just joining us, this is Midwest Ball Rolling edition number 3. We are receiving CIN-DAY SC this afternoon, represented by its president, team manager, and of course, like I said, the coach will be joining us just right ahead. And for those of you out there, thank you so much. I sit back, relax, and of course, enjoy every beautiful moment of this other edition of Midwest Soccer, Midwest Ball Rolling, devoted to the Midwest Veterans Tournament that comes up in May of this year. And so prior to that tournament, we want to know which are these clubs that will be participating, just how much energy are they coming to Columbus with, and what are the ambitions. And so just like they travel with their respective cultural values wherever they go, Cameroonians take soccer along with them. The game is almost always considered the best sports bet by these soccer-loving people. It does not matter much what age they may be, but soccer continues to live with them, or better still, runs in their veins. And so Cameroonian men who live in Cincinnati and Dayton, 2 of Ohio's important cities, are not different. Not only are they part of this soccer lifestyle, but they invest mind, body, soul, material, and money in it. The reason why the veterans soccer movement has always stood very strong. Now, operating under the appellation of CIN-DAY Veterans Soccer Club, this soccer team has actively participated in veterans tournaments at the city level, state level, regional level, and of course, national level. And only last year, they took part at the Midwest Veterans Tournament, and upon returning from Chicago, where it held, they immediately engaged the journey to Columbus. And upon returning, they engaged the journey to Columbus, of course. And with just 34 days to go to the Columbus edition, CIN-DAY believe that they are ready and will be traveling to the state capital in May to kill. Well, how these fleet-footed footballers are putting their act together to back home that covetous trophy on the evening of May the 25th this year is what they will be describing on radio today. So, what is the physiognomy of CIN-DAY SC? What is the team's all-time winning strategy? How much energy and tactics does the coach inject into the team's system? And how does the manager of the team coordinate the club so that its efforts are not wasted? And how does the president of CIN-DAY FC oversee the CIN-DAY ship as it sails across the big sea of the veterans movement? Well, this and more are the conversations we'll be having with our guests on their show this afternoon. Once again, thank you so much for joining us and welcome on board. Let me go back to the guests, uh, President Tita and Team Manager Sandy. Mr. President, for how long has this team been existing?
Well, Ernest, that's a very technical question, and I say that because on paper,
Mhm.
the answer is different, but we have been in existence informally since 2014.
Okay.
We young Cameroonians in the Cincinnati and Dayton area started playing soccer together, you know,
Mhm.
and we'll meet on the weekends and just have fun. It was all about the Sante, just come together and have fun and play soccer, exercise,
Right.
right? And then, after playing for, a couple of years, in 2016, we said, why don't we, organize ourselves? I mean, back then, before even 2016, we were using emails. Like we'll send out emails, hey, we'll play this Saturday at this
Mhm.
field, right? And then in the WhatsApp age, when WhatsApp came around in around 2016, we created our WhatsApp group
Mhm.
where now we were communicating with one another and coordinating our soccer activities. And so right around May 2018, we said, you know what, let's let's begin to talk about how we can gradually evolve into becoming a veteran club, right?
Right.
Because we had a mix between the young, the old, people that are just, fun soccer lovers. We said, okay, let's begin to look at how and what kind of veteran group do we want to have in our community.
Right.
And because we had players playing from Cincinnati and players playing from Dayton, we said we wanted to keep it the same, not have it separate. So we said, okay, we're going to come together and form a CIN-DAY soccer group. So that's why you have the word CIN-DAY. CIN is for Cincinnati and Day is for Dayton.
Okay.
Correct. And so when we after all of those deliberations in 2018, we actually came down to Columbus and played our first tournament there, you
Mhm.
know and then in February of 2020, we elected our first ESCO. And so the ESCO worked hard, to get us registered with the National Veterans Tournament,
Mhm.
of which we were admitted in 2021 and placed on the waiting list. I think
Mhm.
that was in Houston, which we sent delegates at the time to Houston just to represent us and be a part of the NAP meeting, during the tournament.
Mhm.
And then in 2022, we still again sent another delegation to Maryland, and they represented our team there while we were still on the waiting list.
Mhm.
And thankfully enough, during the election of our current president, President Isaka, he pledged to expand the NVT, which then saw us benefit from that because we were on the waiting list. And so that's how we officially added, into the new expanded format of the NVT.
Mhm.
So our first NVT participation was in 2023, and that was in Atlanta.
Mhm.
And then our second NVT participation was in Minnesota, and this year will be our third. As for the Midwest, we were one of the pioneer members in the creation of the Midwest with Columbus and Minnesota. And so we officially registered with the Midwest in 2023, but were unable to participate in Minnesota because, again, keep in mind, like I said, this was in 2023. We had our first participation in the NVT, and
Right.
as a small association, we were trying to gather our resources to ensure that we at least, are well represented at the national level.
Mhm.
So it was only last year in Chicago that we participated uh, officially in the Midwest tournament. And just so you know, for our first participation, we came out third, and we didn't lose the game. We lost to penalties,
Mm.
versus Michigan, who went on to the finals and who almost actually made it to the finals at the national NVT tournament in Minnesota. So you can imagine, the competitive level of the CIN-DAY veterans.
Mm.
So we are looking forward. We are looking forward with great desire and enthusiasm towards the Midwest tournaments this time around. And I'll let you guess what we plan to do this year.
Beautiful. Looking forward to the Midwest tournament with great desire, and of course, quite energized. They were speaking with officials of CIN-DAY Veterans Soccer Club, their life on radio. I'll stay with you, Tita Manga, before I move on to the team manager. I do understand that around Columbus, the veterans are quite known within the community. I just want to know if that is the case within Cincinnati and Dayton. How much of you do the people in the community know?
Oh, very, very. We are actually part of the community. Let
Mm,
me start there. We have, like I said, we are part of the Cincinnati and Dayton community. In Cincinnati, we have the Cameroon family of Cincinnati. In Dayton, we have
mm,
the Cameroon family of Dayton. The first point I'd like to make is we work in synergy with all these associations. What do I mean? For instance, the Cameroon family of Cincinnati has their monthly meetings the last Saturday of every month.
mm.
The veterans deliberately set up their meetings the first Friday of every month to avoid any clash. You
Okay.
know, we have events where those community meetings are held, and we are invited to be a part of those games. For instance,
Mm,
during the picnics, we come and we have soccer tournaments, in which we participate with them. Some of the other things as well that we work with the community in promoting is, you know, training the younger kids. A lot of us parents, we go pay, indoor facilities, and different leagues to train our children. But as part of the CIN-DAY veterans, we have, a kids league which we train and teach these kids how to play soccer.
mm,
So we do several things within our community, to help the community, but work with our Cameroonian brothers and sisters, to ensure that we are present and we are active, in helping our community grow.
mhm. That's beautiful. Let me go to Sandy. So, Sandy, tell us about the team itself. I know you have a club with many people, but not everybody actively participate in in the game itself and in all competitions. So, by the way, how large is the group? How many members do you have?
So right now we have, I think, about 54 members this year.
Mhm.
It keeps changing. I think if I can guess, where we had one person just registered today or yesterday, so it keeps going, it keeps changing. So we have 55 members this year. Last year we had similar number. It was, give or take, it was like 60 last year, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, or 60, yeah. But so it's been going from 30 that we had in 2023. So
Mhm.
2024 more members. 2025 it's going to. So one thing we try to do is we try to push that everyone comes to the field to play.
Okay.
So we understand we will have tournaments, but we want our members to have that soccer opportunity to play. So when we have games during the week, it's for everyone to play.
Okay.
It's not, yeah. So, but when it comes to tournaments, there are some members that will voluntarily tell us, like, I don't think I can take part in Midwest, or I can take part in the NBT. So that brings us down to about 18 to 23 active players that we have within the team, which is something that, if you know very well, I know we might talk about this in another section or in some of the challenges, but that's a big challenge to have a team with about, let's say, 20 soccer players. Yeah, this tournament.
So one of the things I usually want to know is whether you have players who have previously played professional football. I know the whole idea of veterans, the veterans movement, which started, decades ago, stemmed down from retired footballers who wanted to keep their passion rolling. So, do you have any of the guys who have kicked the ball at a professional level?
I can't think of anyone who has played professionally or internationally or even, but I know we have one of our players, Guy Daniel. I think he was part of should it be Union Douala, the junior team or the main team while he was in Cameroon, and he played for the UB school team. And we have other guys that have played some second division teams in Cameroon, but we don't really have pros, like we'll say, that have played internationally or played in the first division league back home.
Okay, I'll stay with you to find out about some local competitions around the Cincinnati and Dayton area, which CIN-DAY SC takes part in. Do you have any of those?
Yeah, so actually we have a CIN-DAY Premier League that we organize. This is the third edition that starts next week, next Saturday, I think the 26th of April. Yeah. So we have a CIN-DAY Premier League that we run. It has teams from other African countries. We have had participation from the Ivorians, the Egyptians, the Moroccans, and
the Congolese.
Yeah, the Congolese, and we have other Cameroonian teams, that the younger teams, like, the Veterans Club is for 35 and above. So we have some other younger guys, plus 237. We have Tapachula FC. We have
Westchester United.
Yeah, so we have been, and all these teams have been taking part in this tournament. So we always start the tournament sometime in April, which helps to prepare us for the Midwest and for the NBT.
That's interesting. We are speaking with officials of CIN-DAY SC ahead of the 2025 edition of the Midwest Veterans Tournament that takes place next month. If you're just joining us, listening to the third edition of Midwest Ball Rolling on Apex One Radio. It's a special series to prepare the ground for the tournament. Just weeks to its happening here in Columbus, Ohio, in the United States of America. Let me go to the president. Can you tell us about some of the achievements the team has had, especially within the Cincinnati and Dayton area? Are there some of these competitions which you have come out victorious?
So there are competitions that we have participated in, and we have not won the competitions on the field, but we have won those competitions off the field.
Okay.
And when I say that, it's because, again, like I said, we are still a very young, organization, and for us, we are very proud of where we are in terms of us as an association. I know we still have some work to do on the field in terms of winning trophies, but I am very confident that where we are today and where we will be in a few years to come, those trophies will start lining up. I'm sure when our brothers, north of us, Columbus, when they started, in their first 3 years of existence, they didn't have trophies. But today, Columbus is a very prestigious team that has a lot to show. Now, in terms of the achievements that we've been able to amass, and like I said, a lot of it is off the field,
Mm.
and it's in terms of building our community, building our members, empowering them. Some of the things that we've been able to do is we've created a community that we come together to empower one another, right? We have our meeting during our meetings. We have what we call the topic of the month, for
Mhm.
example, where, for example, during our last meeting, that was the first Friday of this month, we got a presentation from a doctor about stroke and hypertension. Now, these are things that are prevalent within our community.
Mhm.
Hypertension is a silent killer. But during this presentation, members got to get a free wellness check
Mhm.
in addition to getting premium information from a premium source on how to take care of themselves and their families. We have another session coming up where members will be taught CPR and first aid. We all saw videos on social media recently of a member in Maryland, a veteran member in Maryland, who collapsed on the field. And I don't know if they passed out. I hope they made it. I don't know if they made it. But CPR and first aid, we don't just need them on the field. We need it in our daily lives. It could be our family members.
Mhm.
So these are things that we are actively doing off the field that is empowering and putting our members in a position to succeed in life. We also do a lot of networking within ourselves. How do we leverage our status in society to be able to empower the other person? We've reached out, we've partnered with other companies to come in and sponsor our events. And through these sponsorships, they're they're we've linked up with they've linked up with some members, and through that, other things have come out of it. For example, this year we have our launch coming up, which, by the way, we invited a couple of teams for a mini tournament the week of June 28th, and Columbus is participating. You know, but bringing everybody under one umbrella to participate in a mini tournament, which will culminate in a gala, is also our way to be able to raise funds, to be able to do more in our community, which, by the way, we are a 501c for your viewers out there. So if there's anybody out there that, wants to connect with our team, to be able to, participate in one way or the other. We'll be delighted to hear from you guys. But again, we want to use this gala to raise funds to be able to carry out more of these activities that help to grow and empower our community. Cincinnati, CIN-DAY veterans, we have become a force in the community. We are invited to almost every event because of how we come out and support. Last year, we were invited to the Kumba Association, event, and we came down. We supported them very well. Many other organizations send us, invitations to come out to their events, and we always come out and support. So when I say we are winning off the field, there are so many areas that we impact our community. We continue to grow, but in terms of on field, we have worked hard to grow our membership, to improve our team, We still have some challenges as well, but I'm very confident that with the Midwest and NVT being hosted by our brothers next door, and with the proximity, that exists because of that, we should be able to have a better representation at both of these events this year. Thank you, Ernest.
Beautiful. We are speaking with the officials of the CIN-DAY Soccer Club, Veterans Soccer Club. They are live on radio this beautiful Saturday. Sandys, I know even with the absence of the coach, you can also tell us about some of the players who built this formidable structure. So tell us about some of the players you have, who does what, who plays in what position, so we can know your team better.
I would say I would have loved the coach to take this part, but unfortunately I don't have the player list with me. But I will go off there. I just want to state that I'm actually talking from an undisclosed location. I'm 7 hours away from you. It's already 8:30 p.m. So I'm thinking that I don't have the player list, but being the team manager, I know a lot of my players, and I know how they work hard to be part of the team. So for the goalkeeper, we have goalkeeper Patty B. He has been our goalkeeper since 2023, and our assistant goalkeeper, we have he's a goalkeeper and a player. We have Kasper Asa, who plays as a assistant goalkeeper and as well as a two-shed. So we have Joseph Ayok, who plays the defense line to two-shed or three-shed. Then we have, for the center defenders, we have 4 and 5. We have Fred Achu. We have Baresi, we call him Frank. We have midfield. We have the coach himself. So it's the coach plays. So we have the coach in the midfield, Coach Elvis. We have Guy Daniel, Tiku. We have Leonard. And for the wingers, myself, I play as a winger. And we have Gerard May, Euro Boutique. 9 shed, we have Wally Brooks, Waters Banyamsi, and sometimes I alternate with him as a 9 shed. So we have Waters and myself, and we have other subs that we bring in. Like I said, I don't have the actual player list with me now, but yeah, that's just a summary of some of the players that play actively. And then we have Emmanuel Adig that plays with us. We have, let me see, Claire
Valley.
Yeah, Valley. Oh, yeah. Valley Paris, he plays, yeah. Claire Tusndisang and a host of other guys, yeah.
The formidable football structure of CIN-DAY Veterans Soccer Club, ready to hit the road for Columbus come May 2025 for the Midwest Veterans Tournament, and we'll all be there and enjoy the performance. How often do you train? I know as we speak, the coach is currently at the training ground. So how often does the team train?
So we have official training days Monday and Saturday. So like you said, the coach is right at the field right now training. So, but we, in between those days, we have soccer days that take place in Cincinnati and in Dayton. So Monday we train in Cincinnati and Saturday we train in Dayton. I think sometimes some people think Cincinnati and Dayton are like, we are close together in terms of distance. So from downtown Dayton to downtown Cincinnati, it's less than 50 miles. So most of us are in between. It's you have to drive less than, let's say, 30 minutes maximum to get to either we are playing in Cincinnati or in Dayton. So we play Mondays in Cincinnati and Saturdays in Dayton. But on Wednesday evenings, we play in Dayton, which it's not if that includes the community in general. Then on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, we play in Cincinnati, specifically Westchester. But
Mhm.
the day we actually carve out for the veterans team to play is Monday and Saturday.
Mhm. Mr. President, I do understand that though the distance is it's nothing to write home about, like he said, uh, we are still talking about two cities, Dayton and Cincinnati. How do you coordinate, you know, work having to deal with people who live in two different cities?
That's a good question, Ernest. Um, you know, it makes it's easy on one hand because you have people that genuinely love soccer.
Mhm.
So it doesn't matter if you put it in Columbus, they'll drive there, you know. But on the flip side, it's now where you have to strike a balance where you ensure that okay, we are not just driving one way and these folks over here are spending gas money to go this way, but you also have to make sure that the folks this way are also driving this way so that these folks over here too can save some money on gas and these
Right.
folks too can come here. So and as the team manager said, we did that schedule deliberately, with those things in mind, where we try to make sure that it is fair. Even our meetings, when we have our meetings, we ensure that a fair amount goes to Dayton, a fair amount comes to Cincinnati. Members will have to, ensure that basically we have hosting groups, right? And so the hosting groups will pick who is hosting this month. And so we travel back and forth, and because we get to travel to Dayton one week, sorry, one month, and then the maybe next month or the month after we're traveling back to Cincinnati, it makes it balance where people don't feel like, oh, we keep going this way, but you guys are not coming this way. Now that with everything said, it's still a challenge at times because when Cincinnati is hosting, maybe the population from Dayton may not be as many, and vice versa if Dayton is hosting. But overall, we do the best we can to ensure that we provide opportunities for both sides, in a fair and balanced way, so that there's no sign of impartiality, when it comes to scheduling our activities.
I'll stay with you to find out about hosting major tournaments like the Midwest and even the NVT. If you haven't hosted yet, uh, do you have plans of looking forward to hosting, or have you made efforts towards that before?
That's a good question. That's another good one. You know, in all transparency, we actually were going to host this Midwest
Okay.
um, during the tenure of the former president of Columbus. We had a meeting. We got on the phone and we spoke about our intention to host the Midwest.
Mhm.
And we went to Columbus because we knew Columbus wanted to host. But Columbus was already going to bid for the NVT. And so
Mhm.
our plea to Columbus at the time with President Romeo was to allow us to bid for the NVT. I'm sorry, for the MVT.
Mhm.
We had things locked up already. Like we had our fields identified, we had everything identified. We were ready to put in our bid. But President Romeo also made a good point to me and my team, which was President Manga, we are brothers,
Mhm.
Columbus and Cincinnati. We are getting ready to host the Midwest. We would like to use the Midwest to prepare for the NVT.
NBT.
And there was no way I could come back from that. When he said that to me, I understood what he meant. Our team understood what he meant. And given that we want the NVT, the National Veteran Tournament, in Ohio,
To
and I'm
succeed.
specific, in Ohio to be the best, we said there is no need pushing the envelope.
Mhm.
Let's join our hands to ensure that when we welcome NVT in Ohio, let the people leave here knowing that Ohio put up the best show ever put up by any state for the National Veterans Tournament. And that is how we took down our candidacy to host the MVT, and we plot our support behind Columbus, to ensure that they host the MVT this year.
That was a fair one there. I would say thank you on Columbus's behalf. A special good afternoon to former president of the Columbus Veterans Soccer Club. I'm thinking of President Arman. I'm thinking of Finjap Evaristus, aka Capo. I'm thinking of President Achale Romeo. And of course, the current president, Forcha Valentine. For those of you just joining us, welcome to this new edition of Midwest Ball Rolling. And on board today, we are speaking with officials of CIN-DAY Veterans Soccer Club, who are getting set to hit the road for Columbus come May this year. And so, welcome on board for those of you just joining us. Let me go back to sign this team manager. I know this effort is not done by one man. There's definitely partnership, sponsorships, and what have you. So, what are some of the forces behind CIN-DAY SC that makes the machine rolling? Do you have partners? Do you have permanent sponsors and organizations that support you?
Oh yeah, so thank you for that very beautiful question. And one thing I would say is, from within, the force that we get that encourages us to work is the dedication of our members and giving us that encouragement to do what we do as the executive, especially the team management side of it all.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to the community, like the president said, we are actively taking part in so many things in the community, and that's why they keep calling us to come support when there's something going on. Mm-hmm. But on the side, we have had social events, let's say pre-NVT gala that we did 2020 last year before the NVT, and we reached out to the community, and we had a handful of businesses and well-wishers within the community that came in to support us, to send us to the NVT. So one thing we have always tried to, we haven't launched our veteran club formally yet. So we have always tried not to call on people when we haven't really formally called them to say we are launching as a soccer club, which is what we are doing this year in June. So we are actually reaching out actively to businesses in the community, well-wishers in the community, letting them know we are launching in June, and we want to have some close partnership with them, sponsorship and things like that. So that's something that we are actively working on.
Let me pry more into your function as team manager. I'm just trying to imagine how it would take you to book flights for perhaps at times more than 40 people. They have to be transported they have to be flown to a different state and maybe spend 3-4 days lodged in a hotel, all of that. Tell us what goes on in the background when you are performing this function as a team manager, and how you are able to, withstand all these overbearing responsibilities.
Yeah, I will tell you, this is a very challenging task. But one thing we have always done is we pride ourselves as being the team that takes our players from their homes to the airport, to our destination, transportation within that destination, hotel, feeding, and we move with our catering staff for the last 2 weeks. We have the lady that we contract with, and she comes with her team from Cincinnati to Atlanta, gets an Airbnb, takes care of the team in terms of feeding. We in Minnesota, it's same thing. She comes with her team and she takes care of us there. So talking about the flight, it's very challenging just because sometimes when we try to schedule, you don't have the right numbers. Yeah, it's been to Atlanta, we had similar challenges. We don't know who is going. And when we talk with the airlines, they try to give us a quote based on the number of people that we are taking. Last year, we were sure of about 35 people going, so we said, let's do 45. But guess what? We had more than that. Since last year to Minnesota, we tried to include our families. So members will come up, and if you are going with your family, we take care of that too. So we try to get a good deal for everyone, so that you can bring your spouse, you can bring your significant other or your kids if you're traveling with them. And we also include them in the transportation and in the lodging and feeding. So that takes our numbers up, and given the fact that it keeps fluctuating, it's very challenging. So yeah, one thing we make sure we do is we don't only take care of the players that are going for the tournament. We take care of every member and their family, and we take them to the destination for the tournament, and we come back as a team. We travel as a team and come back as a team. Spend the time, the transportation to the field and back, we take care of that. Every time we go to a tournament, we rent buses there that we take the players and our members to the field and back. And when we have nightlife events, white parties and all of that, we go as a team. So you can just imagine taking care of the hotel arrangements, the transportation, and feeding and entertainment. It's really challenging. Something that we have to do prior to us even getting to where we have to go, or during that time. So it's a tough task. Yeah.
Let me go back to the president. He was just describing how these things work behind the scenes. But I'm just thinking of flying tens of people out of states to spend days and come back. And not only doing that, but having to manage these people all the time as president. I just want you to measure that responsibility and tell me how you manage that mentally.
You know, you're only as good as the people around you.
Mm.
And uh, I'm truly blessed to have Sandy's and a couple of others that make the work lighter. Sandis we can call him team manager, but Sandis is really the ops guy. He's the operations guy. And, we're talking about flights. We haven't even talked about the hotels. I can't count the number of hours we've been on the phone, trying to book a hotel. And then we do all of that only, to come back and realize, wait a minute, we have 10 people that just added. Oh, these people have just switched from a single room to a double room, or they've switched from a double room to the one now on a single room. And all of that you have to go back and get on the phone. And so it's a logistical nightmare, every time we have this, the NVT come around. But it's also a joy. We do it with so much passion, because we truly care about our soccer club. Our members give us the support we need. When we um when like Sandys mentioned, when it comes to the financial support, it starts from within. We start from within. Our members step up every single time. And so when we have that support, I guess getting on the phone is the least we can do, right? We then get on the phone and make sure that we meet their needs. Now, in terms of the mental part, the mental part can be challenging, over the years, it's gotten even more challenging because the more we participate in these tournaments, the more demanding our members become, because now they have other exigencies that they have maybe seen other teams do because they attended this last one. Now they want us to include it,
Right.
in our participation at this tournament. And so, but we it's just to stay strong. I see this as serving, as serving the community. And so my goal here is to be a facilitator, and so we look at what we have in front of us. We leverage the resources at our disposal, and we do the best we can. You can only do so much, but I would say the greatest strength that keeps me going is the people I'm surrounded with every day, making these decisions and guiding our team and moving the association ahead.
Definitely, when you have a strong team, you will succeed as a leader. Just to mention, ladies and gentlemen, that the latest edition of the New Americans magazine, it's on the stands, so you can pick your own copy. This edition, the publisher and his team highlight Senator Yesel Craig. You may like to flip through the pages of that magazine and enjoy that interview. It's a glossy edition of the New Americans magazine that also carries the story of the New Americans book fair, which metamorphosizes into the New Americans Book Festival. It took place in September of this year in its fourth edition at the Carl Road branch of the Columbus Metropolitan Library. So, grab a copy of this magazine and go through the beautiful stories in it. We'll definitely come back to this in our subsequent editions, precisely when we do our press review. But we are back to soccer and the Midwest Veterans Tournament that comes up in just 34 days. How time flies. And one of the teams that will be participating in this year's edition of that tournament is CIN-DAY Veterans Soccer Club. That covers the Cincinnati and Dayton areas. I'm speaking to key leaders of that team, including the president, Tita Manga, and of course, team manager, Sandys Eno. Now, we are gradually but steadily moving to the end of this program, but I want us to come back to the team itself and how prepared you are for the Midwest tournament. But before we get there, Sandys, if you want to pick one game which your team has played and you would always love to remember it, what game would it
I think I will go. I'm sure the president will agree with me. It's the game we played, the last game in the NVT, where we played against Boston. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And like the Boston Veterans is a team that counts with not only pros, but well-known international pros that play with Boston Veterans.
So what made the game spectacular?
I think we coming from behind to almost so that was our last game, and we came into play, and with just the noise that most people make prior to a game, talking about with Boston Veterans having all the professional players and all of that. So coming into the game, that to itself proved to us that it will be a challenging game. And we came into the game, we were down. President, can you clarify? Yeah, we were down in that game, and we came up.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you add on that, President?
Okay, sure. So we, first of all, coming to this game, we had lost our first three games. So we were eliminated already.
First
right?
two.
Yeah, sorry, the first two games. Yeah, we're eliminated. So we had really nothing to play for, right? Boston needed to win this game to move to the next round.
Okay.
And they had Wome, they had Emana,
Okay.
and then they had this other guy that played for Lille in France. His
Jean
name
de
is
Marc.
Marcel.
yes, Makun. So, of course, that's the center of attraction. Everybody is watching Boston because of all these former indomitable Lions. So they're coming to play us that we've lost, two games already and
Okay.
a nobody,
Right.
right? And so they were just going to crush us. Now, the 2 games prior, because we did not have a large pool of players, we tried to recruit other players to come and strengthen our team,
Okay.
right? But one thing we found out during the first 2 games was that these players, we lacked chemistry. So the coach made a tactical change and removed all of those players and said, we'll go with just our local players.
Mhm.
At least we have team chemistry. We have nothing to play for, but let's go out with pride and dignity. So again, I'm drumming up this story so you understand why it was our best game.
Right.
So at halftime, they were leading us 3-0. 3-0.
Hmm.
We came out, our guys were still fired up. And the thing that kept us motivated was the type of goals we conceded. We were holding our own, but they were tactical goals, and there were one was a tactical goal, and there were two errors. Defensive errors that a slight pass would have avoided it.
Right.
So we came out, we spoke, we talked about it, and we strengthened. We said we need to correct that, clean it up. One touch, one pass. So we went back to the basics. We went in, we scored one.
Okay.
Played. Hustled. We scored the second one. We got refused a clear penalty. I mean, clear penalty, right? And then our guys and the type of goals we scored, it was also what really drummed up, it ended the anxiety of the game, because we scored one from midfield like it was a power shot.
Mhm.
And then the other one, I can't remember, but it was a 1-2 pass, and boom, we scored. So we were holding our own, playing against Boston that was looked at as Goliath, and we were David, right? And now we started pressing, and Boston was defending. Boston now stopped playing offense, and they were busy defending. And we were pressing. And because we were the junior ones, everybody now was behind us. Imagine all those people that came to watch the show. So what helped Boston was because we ran out of regulation. We ran out of time. Even though we would have tied that game and even won the game. That's how interesting it was. So that's why today it's our best game, because based on the level of the opposition, we came from behind in a game that we had nothing to play for,
Hmm.
and fought our way back into the game, almost tying the game. And if we had time, we would have won that game.
What a beautiful story there. We're talking about CIN-DAY SC that is looking forward for the 2025 edition of the Midwest Veterans Tournament. Back to Sundays, and very, very, very briefly, there's definitely another game which you hate to remember. Each time that games come to your mind, you wish it had never happened. Tell us about it.
I think that will be our game in the Midwest, where lost to Michigan. Yeah. So we had a very formidable team in the Midwest. Our players were all locked in. We had the chemistry. We had all local players. We played from the guys that we used to play have our training at Santes. But unfortunately, we had an injury. Like we have always said, we have one of our deficiencies is we don't have a large reserve bench. So come in and a maximum of like 16, 17 players. And after 2, 3 games, you already have about 2 or 3 injuries since we play 2 a day. So it has always been a challenge. So during that game with Michigan, I think we came from the back too, if I can remember. They were leading
Time.
so first, and then they scored us, I think, 3 straight goals. So we were down 3-1. Then we came back, scored two goals, and then we went into the extra time and then the penalties. And Michigan went on to play the finals with Vesta, and they went on penalties too with Vesta during the finals. So it just tells you how tough Michigan as a team is. And I know it's rumor that everyone is scared of them. This coming this Midwest tournament, Michigan is seen as the favorite team so far. So the challenging one to us too.
All right, we'll definitely have Michigan live on radio to talk about that, and we'll see how it goes. Just to remind you that 12 teams will participate in this year's edition of the Midwest tournament. There will be Mwvt FC. It's a Columbus-based soccer club. There will be Bet Star from Minnesota. There is CIN-DAY Soccer Club, and of course, Iowa Vets Soccer Club, Windy City Veterans Football Club, New Boys Soccer Club. We will be having Chicago Vets Football Club that hosted last year's edition of the same tournament. Then we have the WI Cheeseheads, KC Veterans, Cleveland Area Vets FC, Michigan Vets FC, and of course the host site, Columbus Veterans SC. So 12 teams will be vying for that covetous trophy, which will be lifted on the evening of May the 25th here in Columbus, Ohio. And so, who backs home that trophy? That is the question that will be answered, not today at least. But let's narrow this down to what is going to happen in just 34 days. And so, can we know how prepared CIN-DAY is? I would like to begin with the president. You said earlier that you've won far more matches off pitch than on the pitch. But I've also understood that over time, the matches have become really serious and people really want to win. In as much as you are an organization that takes or that is involved in community issues, you also want to win the games. And we've seen how it's moved from just social, social movement to real soccer.
Yes.
Very competitive. Now you just mentioned players that have won the African Nations Cup, that have played the World Cup. So it means it is serious, which means that you are not only coming, to socialize, but you also coming to win the games.
Correct.
So tell me, how prepared is your team?
So from a preparation standpoint, we are kickstarting our CIN-DAY Soccer League next weekend. And this, again, it comprises of 6 teams in the local area. One thing we're doing differently this year is any player on any of those teams playing, who is over 35, is going to play with the CIN-DAY veterans. And the reason is that we want to be able to use this tournament to recruit all local talents within our community, to play with the CIN-DAY veterans so that we can build an effective team and have team chemistry. So that's one of the ways that we are using, to improve our level of play and to be able to be a force to reckon with the big boys of Michigan and Columbus this year. The other thing that we are working on doing is we want to have other mini tournaments in between, like during our launch. We've invited Columbus, Michigan, and Cleveland, other teams surrounding us, to participate in these mini tournaments, to be able to have, again, another opportunity to continue to play at a very high level so that we get used to playing in competitions with teams that have a better, profile than we currently do. The third and last thing that we are working on is we have improved the discipline around our soccer activities.
Mhm.
We worked on changing our bylaws, to put tighter, rules around, showing up to trainings, showing up to soccer activities, and actively supporting the team. And part of the supporting the team also is this year we have introduced, well, actually started last year, but this year we are formalizing it, and paying for it through a budget, which introducing a fan club. The fan club will accompany the team, to soccer activities where they will be on the sidelines cheering the team, as we fight our way to victory. I
Mhm.
would I would say that, in as much as we haven't won a lot on the field, this year is going to be a different year, and this year is starting with the Midwest tournament. And I would ask your viewers to stay tuned for that.
We are definitely looking forward to that. Scientists, are there any impediments which you would love to clear before you ever get to Columbus? Anything that is standing on your way? Uh, it could be performance wise, it could be psychological wise.
I think, yeah, like the president said, one of the things that the challenges that we have had is getting players to come play in the field. Like,
Mhm.
just because we want to play from within, so we cannot have some people come to the field on Monday and don't show up on Saturday, and some other people come on Saturday don't show up on Monday. So we have tried to make tighter rules to ensure that members or players, most especially, have to be part of the training sessions. We have created separate groups. So we have like the veteran soccer group. We have created a separate WhatsApp group. I mean, like where we communicate directly with the players, and also in order to ensure that we actively participate together, train together. We have been doing this year every Thursday night, like paying for indoor soccer, separate from the regular yearly indoor soccer that we do on Wednesday. So we do a Thursday night indoor soccer, which is only for the players.
Mhm.
So we can have some play time. And in addition, we have had two friendly games already that we played. And yeah, so last weekend we played one, and 2 weeks ago we played another friendly game. But like the president said, the CIN-DAY Premier League is our test, so that we play with six
Mhm.
teams around the community, giving us that opportunity to play together and to show up to Midwest tournament with that team chemistry.
Beautiful. Briefly, apart from the test matches which you are engaged with, what other motivations do you have? What is that motivating factor that makes you think uh, the Midwest tournament will be, a great one for CIN-DAY SC?
We are playing from home, I would say. So that's one thing we are playing in Columbus, and it feels like home. So we know Columbus is the host, and we think that hosting, and they have some other challenges to be hosting and taking part in the tournament. They might have the upper hand in terms of playing at home, but we look at it as we are playing at home. It's in Ohio, and so we have that motivation. We are going to the Midwest tournament, and I would leave that for you to get what will happen in May. So, thank you.
So, Mr. President, what should football lovers and spectators be expecting to see in Columbus come the Midwest tournament?
Well, this is for your viewers. One word: CIN-DAY veterans. Remember that name.
Mhm.
Last year we came out third. So guess what will happen this year? Michigan, I see you. Columbus, I see you. Vesta, I see you. But it's all love. It's all love over here. But CIN-DAY, CIN-DAY is here to stay.
All right. I do not have the fixtures yet, but usually there is always a day one, a day two, and maybe a day three. So for that first match, I don't know if you know the team you'll be meeting yet, but for that first match, can you already give a forecast? Whoever you'll be meeting.
No, absolutely, absolutely. What I know is we are coming in to win,
Okay.
and that's what we did in the previous competition in last year in Chicago, and so this year will be no different. My apologies in ahead to the first team. They've just done the group match. They've just done the groupings, but they haven't actually done like you play your first match with this person and your second
Okay.
match. So in advance of who that first person would be, is going to be a win for the CIN-DAY Vets.
All right. Sanjay's opening match for CIN-DAY. Any forecasts?
I think that we are sure to win that game.
Okay. Perfect. Right. So we're about to run off this edition of Midwest Ball Rolling. But just before we go away, if you have some people who are planning to maybe relocate to the Cincinnati Dayton area, or some folks who are there but haven't yet joined your movement and may be interested in doing that, how can they contact the club?
Absolutely. They can contact the club by sending an email to cindayvets at gmail.com. Cindayvets at gmail.com. They may also contact me or Sandis directly. They can contact me at 513-237-0119. And Sandis, you can give them your number as well.
651-347-9258.
Okay. The message has definitely gone across. I want to thank you both so much for joining us on the show. Definitely before the games kick off next month, we'll find time again and and share some more information. I wish you all the best. And for one thing, it's the camaraderie, the brotherly love that exists within the entire movement that makes it so interesting. You just mentioned the fact that you were about hosting this year's edition of the Midwest Veterans Tournament, but for the fact that Ohio will be hosting the NVT, you had your people in Columbus do it as a way of preparing for the bigger competition. That was really fair play, and of course, soccer is a game for fair play. So thank you so much, and do have a fantastic rest of the weekend, and hopefully we will join you again. But before you go away, maybe just 30 seconds to pay tribute to maybe some of your members or some people or organizations that have been very supportive, as far as CIN-DAY is concerned.
Oh, absolutely. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank the former president, President Mbengtaku, as well as our former president, my predecessor, President Celeste, as chair, who have been instrumental in getting us up to where we were before I took over. I also want to thank my ESCO for the tremendous job they do every day in supporting me and ensuring that we continue to advance the objectives of the CIN-DAY veterans. I also want to thank the Cameroon family of Dayton. I also want to thank the Cameroon family of Cincinnati for all they do to work with us in synergy to continue to promote our values. Thank you to all the young guys, the Westchester United, the Tapachulas, the Plus 237, the Congolese, the Egyptians, the Moroccans, my bad, as well as the Ivorian teams that have worked with us over the years, to continue to grow us in the soccer league. Thank you to Columbus. Thank you, President Vali Fosha, for what Columbus has meant to us over the years, and we continue to count on them as well for their support. And that will be all. I don't know if our team manager has anyone in mind that I may have left out.
Well, that was a good rundown from the president, and I think that on my own part, I just want to say thank you to all our members that keep pushing, that
Yeah.
keep for us to support us to go for this tournament.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Have a fantastic rest of the weekend, and we will get back to you as time unfolds. Good luck, and bye for now.
Thank you, Ernest. Bye.
And for those of you out there who watch this show on our respective social media platforms and listens to it on apex1radio.com, I want to say thank you so much. It was a huge team that kept you company with many people in the background. Special thanks to Finjap Evaristus, aka Capo, for making this show possible. Thank you to Valentine Forcha, president of the Columbus Veterans Soccer Club. Special thanks to Abu. As far as Apex One Radio is concerned, we had Shin in the background, Danlet, Queen V, Marcel, Adig was the producer. And of course, my name is Ernest Kanjo. Hoping to see you again for the next edition of Rolling. And until we meet, it is bye bye. Do have a fantastic rest of the weekend. May God bless you.